Hello students. In the previous class, we discussed two important concepts in electricity. These are the two important concepts we discussed in electricity in the previous class. The first one is potential difference V. It is given by the equation work by charge, W by Q, the total work done by the total charge moved. Work done by Q, work done by charge, and it is measured in volt. In the second quantity we discussed is the current, electric current, that is given by the equation I is equal to Q by T. Q is the total charge flowing in a time T. So charge flowing in 1 second is called electric current, and it is measured in a unit ampere. Okay, ampere is the unit of electric current and volt is the unit of potential difference. Potential difference is the work done to move a unit positive charge from one point to another point. Okay, these 2 points we discussed in the previous class. I hope all of you got the clear idea about these two concepts. Now we have to discuss about Ohm's law. It is one of the important laws in electricity which relates these two quantities, that is potential difference V and current I. When we are designing an electric circuit like the domestic wiring of our buildings and all, we need Ohm's law for find out the current in a branch and potential given to a particular device. We need the help of Ohm's law to do all these calculations when we are designing an electric circuit. First we can understand what is Ohm's law from an animation. We will see this animation first. See this animation. Okay, this is the Ohm's law experiment. In this experiment we can see this is a wire with high resistance like nichrome wire. Okay, it is connected in series with a cell, a single cell, and also a switch is here and a milliammeter. This is the ammeter for measuring the current. These are all in series. Okay, from the cell positive is coming to one end of this high resistance wire, then from the wire to the positive of the ammeter, because it is positive of the cell, then negative of the ammeter to switch, from the switch to negative of the cell. So this is series circuit. This much is series circuit, and this is voltmeter. Voltmeter is used for measuring the potential difference. As you know that from the previous discussion, voltmeter should be connected in parallel. So the voltmeter positive, you can see here this red terminal positive is connected to this point because positive of the cell is coming here, and this black terminal negative is connected to this point of the high resistance wire, that is negative. You can see negative of the cell is reaching at this point. It means voltmeter is connected parallel. Voltmeter സാധാരണ ഒരു റെസിസ്റ്റൻസ് വയറിന് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഡിവൈസിന് പാരലൽ ആയിട്ടാണ് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യുക, പാരലൽ കണക്ഷൻ. പിന്നെ ആമീറ്റർ സീരീസ് കണക്ഷൻ. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിലൊരു സെല്ലാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ കണക്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു സെല്ല് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം എത്ര കറണ്ട് പാസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ആ കറണ്ട് പാസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പം ഈ രണ്ട് പോയിന്റുകൾക്കിടയിൽ, ഈ ഹൈ റെസിസ്റ്റൻസ് വയറിൻ്റെ രണ്ട് എൻഡുകൾക്കിടയിൽ, രണ്ട് എക്സ്ട്രീം പോയിന്റുകൾക്കിടയിൽ എത്ര പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ ഡിഫറൻസ് ഈ വോൾട്ട്മീറ്റർ കാണിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് നോക്കാം. എന്നിട്ട് പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നത് നെക്സ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റെപ്പിൽ ഈ സെല്ലിൻ്റെ എണ്ണം കൂട്ടും. പിന്നെ 2 സെല്ല് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യും, പിന്നെ 3 സെല്ല് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പോൾ കറണ്ടിൻ്റെ മാഗ്നിറ്റ്യൂഡ് കൂടും. കറണ്ട് മാഗ്നിറ്റ്യൂഡ് കൂടുമ്പോൾ വോൾട്ട്മീറ്റർ റീഡിങ്ങും കൂടും. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ റെസിസ്റ്റൻസിന് അക്രോസ് ആയിട്ട് ഡ്രോപ്പ് ആകുന്ന, ഇതിന് അക്രോസ് ആയിട്ട് വരുന്ന പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ ഡിഫറൻസും കൂടിക്കൊണ്ടേ വരും. അത് നമുക്ക് ഈ ആക്ടിവിറ്റിയിൽ കാണാം. ഓക്കെ, സീ ഇറ്റ്. Only one cell is connected. That time the current is, see the current flowing is 120 milliampere. 120 milliampere means divided by 1000 becomes 0.12 ampere. And the voltmeter reading is 0.3 volt. When one cell is connected, 0.3 volt is the potential difference across this high resistance wire. Now 2 cells are connected. Now more current is flowing. You can see number of electrons crossing is more in number, because potential difference increase. Now current becomes 200 milliampere. Current is 200 milliampere. That is 0.2 ampere. 0.2 ampere. And potential difference also increased. It become now 0.5 volt. Now 3 cells are connected. You see, we cannot see the number of electrons because they are moving very fast. And 300 milliampere. Current increased. 300 milliampere. and see potential difference also, it increased to 0.75 volt. Okay, it is amazing. Now we can see this in a table. Okay, this is the observation of the experiment. With one cell we obtain 120 milliampere, that is 0.12 ampere. Then 200 milliampere divided by 1000 is 0.2 ampere. Then 300 milliampere, that divided by 1000 is 0.3 ampere. And for one cell we got 0.3 volt. And when it is two cells, 0.2 ampere, we got 0.5 volt. And 0.3 ampere, that is 0.75 volt. When we divide these two relations, V by I, potential difference divided by current, 0.3 by 0.12, that is equal to 2.5. And 0.5 divided by 0.2 also 2.5. 0.75 by 0.3 also 2.5. Means V by I is a constant. V by I is a constant, or V is directly proportional to I. Means as the current increases, potential difference across the wire also increases. That is Ohm's law. That is V by I equal to a constant, or V is directly proportional to I. Hence we verified the Ohm's law. What we have seen here, the potential difference divided by current, V by I, is equal to a constant. Or we can write V is directly proportional to I. That means the potential difference across the two ends of a conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. When current is doubled, potential also doubled. When current is tripled, potential difference also tripled. It is directly proportional. Or we can write V is equal to a constant R into I. V equal to a constant R into I. This constant R is found to be equal to the resistance of the conductor. Or we can say here V by I equal to the constant R. So R is the resistance of the conductor. It is measured in a unit called ohm, OHM. Ohm is the unit of resistance. Its symbol is this one. This is the symbol of ohm. Okay. Now, what is actually resistance? We know that the free electrons, the previous discussion I explained to you, in a metallic conductor there are large number of free electrons, and these free electrons are moving in between the metallic ions. And you know, in solids these ions are closely packed. Inside a solid metal, the ions are closely packed. There are very less space in between the ions, and through that small gap electrons have to move. When they are moving in between the ions, there will be friction, internal friction. Because of that, will oppose the flow of electrons through the conductor. This property of the metal, to oppose the flow of charges, to oppose the flow of electron in between the ions through the conductor, that property is called resistance. It is measured in ohm, and it is given by the equation R equal to V by I. And we got that equation from Ohm's law, R is equal to V by I. Now the statement of Ohm's law is this one: the potential difference across the two ends of the conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided the temperature remains constant. When we are doing this experiment, the temperature of that high resistance wire should be maintained constant. Otherwise the resistance will keep on changing. Only at constant temperature we can get a constant value for resistance. Okay, that is what Ohm's law. And from Ohm's law we can see R is equal to V by I. From this equation of Ohm's law we have R is equal to V by I, potential difference by current. And two more equations we can write, that is V is equal to potential difference between two ends of a conductor is equal to I into R, and also current through a conductor I is equal to, from this equation if I take I over here, then R will come to denominator, then I is equal to V by R. I is equal to V by R. Now you can see here we got three important equations from Ohm's law. These three equations are very important and we are designing an electric circuit. You can see here we have the equation of potential difference, V is equal to W by Q. That is work done by charge. The work done to move unit positive charge from one point to another point. That is V equal to W by Q. This is the equation of potential difference, which defines potential difference. What is actually potential difference? But here we have again one equation, potential difference V equal to I into R. This equation is also same potential difference only, but this is the equation we use in practical electrical circuit. When we are designing an electric circuit, suppose you are doing the wiring of your home. When we are doing the domestic wiring, in each branch of the circuit, how much current is flowing? if you want to find out the current flowing in a circuit, in a branch of a circuit, we can use this equation V equal to I into R. So V equal to I into R is the practical equation, the equation which can be applied in a practical electrical circuit when we are designing. But this equation V equal to W by Q, this is the equation which defines what is actually potential difference. Got the point? So this is theoretically explaining what is potential difference. This is practically to measure the potential difference or voltage in a circuit. The same way, we have the current equation here, I equal to Q by T. This is the equation which defines current. What is actually current? It is a charge flowing in unit time through the cross section of a conductor. That is the equation which defines what is current. We can understand the concept of current from this equation. But this equation, again, I equal to V by R, it is a practical equation. By using this equation, we can measure the current in a circuit. Suppose you want to measure the current flowing through an electric bulb. Then you apply this V 220 volt and R resistance of the filament of the bulb. Then you can find out how much current is flowing through the bulb. So this is the equation practically we can use for measuring the current. Okay, and this equation I equal to Q by T, that is defining what is current. We can understand what is 1 ampere. Okay, and also from this equation R is equal to V by I. I told you resistance is measured in the unit ohm. Ohm is the unit of resistance. Okay. Now we can see what is 1 ohm. 1 ohm resistance. To get 1 ohm resistance from this equation, if you are applying 1 volt potential difference across the ends of a conductor, okay, and that time suppose it is giving 1 ampere current. If 1 volt potential difference is applied across a conductor, then 1 ampere is the current flowing. Then from this equation R is equal to V, we can apply 1 volt divided by current is 1 ampere. So 1 by 1 is equal to 1, means we will get R is equal to 1 volt per ampere. Okay, 1 volt per ampere. This volt per ampere is given another name ohm. That is the unit of resistance. So 1 ohm means we can write 1 ohm is equal to what? 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt per ampere. It means if you have a bulb, if it is having 1 ohm resistance, if the filament of the bulb is 1 ohm, then if you provide 1 volt potential difference, current will be 1 ampere. Or if you apply 1 volt potential difference across a conductor, and if the current flowing through that is 1 ampere, then we can say that the resistance of that conductor is 1 ohm. If 1 volt is the potential difference applied across a conductor, that time if 1 ampere current flows through that, then we can say that the resistance of the conductor is 1 ohm. Okay, you got the idea? Now we will go to the next page and we will derive Joule's law. Okay, the next topic. Okay, this is the page and you can see the photo of the famous scientist James Prescott Joule. James Prescott Joule. He born in 1818, long years back. Now we are in 2020. Okay, this famous scientist James Prescott Joule, he had given the explanation for the heat energy produced in a resistor. The heat energy produced in a resistor when a current flows through it, and all the heating devices that uses nichrome wire or high resistance coil, that is working with the principle of Joule's law. The geyser used for heating water in the bathroom, the electric iron, electric toasters, okay, and the electric stove, all these are working according to the Joule's law. Now we will derive Joule's law. Already you know from the previous explanation, we have the equation of potential difference V is equal to W by Q, and also we have equation of current I is equal to Q by T. Current is equal to charge by time, the total charge flowing by total time, and potential difference V is equal to work divided by charge, total work done by total charge flowing. Okay, this will take equation number 1 and this will take equation number 2. And in 9th class we studied one equation for power. Power is equal to work done in unit time. If W is the work done in a time T, then power is given by work by time. Then power is given by work divided by time. The work done in 1 second is called power. It is measured in watt. Watt means joule per second. Power is measured in watt. W-A-T-T watt. 1 watt means 1 joule per second. We will take this as equation number 3. So these are the 3 basic equations we needed for deriving Joule's law. Already you know first 2 equations. P equal to W by T also you studied in previous class. Okay. Now, from the first equation, we have V equal to W by Q. So what will be work done is equal to W is equal to V into Q. W is equal to V into Q. Means when we take this Q to left hand side, we will get V into Q is equal to W, or W is equal to V into Q. Now we can substitute this equation in equation number 3. When we substitute this equation in equation number 3, we can write power P is equal to, instead of W, I can put V into Q, because W is equal to V into Q. Here in this portion of W, I am giving V into Q divided by T. But here in equation number 2, you can see I is equal to Q by T. And here also we have Q by T. Here we have Q by T. So this Q by T, instead of this Q by T, I can substitute what? I is equal to Q by T. So the equation becomes P is equal to V into I. Voltage into current is equal to power. See this equation, power P is equal to voltage into current. Again, this power P equal to W by T, it is a theoretical equation which defines what is power. Now this P equal to V into I, we can use in an electrical circuit, practical electrical circuit, to calculate the power. Suppose you want to calculate the power of a bulb. Then you apply the potential difference 220 volt, and if you know the current flowing through the bulb, multiply the potential difference and current flowing through the bulb, you will get the power. So power P is obtained by multiplying the potential difference across a device into current flowing through the device. This equation will take equation number 4. Again, we'll go to the equation number 3. In equation number 3, power P is equal to work divided by time. Then work is equal to what? If I take time to this side, it will become power into time. Then power into time is equal to W, means work, or we can say W is equal to P into T, power into time. We got the equation work done equal to power into time. Now again, you have studied in previous class, or whenever we do some work, it will be converted to energy. You know the unit of work is joule. Energy also measured in joule. Actually both are same. Work done and energy are same. If you do some work, that will be converted to energy. If I am lifting this pen, how much amount of work I am doing for lifting this pen, and at this height, that work done will be converted into potential energy of this pen, potential energy. By using that energy, it can fall downward. If I throw something, the work done will be converted to kinetic energy of this pen. Okay, and also in the case of a heating device, through a heating coil, when a current flows, the work done by the heating coil will be converted into heat energy. Okay, when current flows through a bulb, the work done by the bulb is converted to light energy. When a current flows through a fan, the work done by the fan is converted to mechanical energy or rotational kinetic energy. Whenever work is done, that will be converted to energy. Work is energy, energy is work. For example, if you do some work, then only you will get energy. If you are not doing any work, you will not get energy, isn't it? Right now you are getting energy because your father is doing work. Suppose your father is not doing work, you will not get energy, isn't it? If a farmer is not doing work in the field, then we will not get food items, isn't it? If the farmer is not eating, if the farmer is not having food, he cannot do work. If a farmer do work in the field, we will get food items. If the farmer is not having food, if he is starving, then we will not get any food items if the farmer is not doing any work. So if you do work, that will be converted to energy. Whatever work right now you are doing, it won't be wasted. Whenever you do work, that will be converted to energy. If you do hard work right now, in future it will come in the form of energy. Work and energy will not be wasted. It will be converted to in another form of energy. So work is energy, energy is work. So in a heating coil, when current flows through that, the work done by the heating coil is converted to heat energy. So instead of W in this equation, we can use heat energy, because work done by the coil is converted into heat energy. I can write H is equal to heat energy is equal to power into time. Heat energy produced in a coil is equal to power into time. Now from equation number 4, we have P equal to V into I. Power is V into I. Now we substitute that here. Instead of power P, we can put V into I. Therefore, heat energy produced H is equal to power P is, instead of power P I am putting V into I, VI into T, VI into T, VIT. So H is equal to VIT. We got the equation H is equal to VI into T or VIT. So H is equal to VIT. It means when you multiply the voltage, potential difference, current and time of flow, you will get the heat energy produced in the resistor. Now according to Ohm's law, we have the equation Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R. If I substitute this I into R here instead of V, I can write heat energy produced inside the conductor H is equal to, instead of V I am putting I into R, I into R into I into T, into I into, that means H is equal to I square RT. This is Joule's law. It means that the heat energy produced in a conductor is directly proportional to square of the current and directly proportional to the resistance and also the time of flow. Means we can write in mathematically Joule's law like this. According to Joule's law, the heat energy developed in a conductor H is directly proportional to the square of the current flowing through the conductor into resistance of the wire into the time of flow. It means if you double the current, heat produced become 4 times. If you triple the current, heat produced become 9 times, square of that. And if you increase the current 4 times, heat becomes 16 times. If you increase the current 10 times, heat become 100 times, square of current. And it is directly proportional to resistance. If you double the resistance value, heat energy also double. If you triple the resistance, heat energy developed also triple. If you double the time, heat energy also will double. If you triple the time of flow of current through the conductor, heat energy also triple. Means with resistance and time, it is directly proportional to the value, and with current, it is proportional to square of that value of the current. I hope these ideas are clear. Okay. Now what I am going to do, a small change in this equation, just to motivate you during this time, okay, to energize you. I will make a small change in this equation with my own idea. What I am going to do here, instead of this H, I am putting a symbol M. So if I put this M here, M proportional to I square RT, M proportional to I square RT. Okay, this is the modification of Joule's law according to my idea. Here, what is M stands for? Here, the M stands for the marks you are scoring in your exam. I stands for your interest, the interest in your mind to learn to get educated. R is the frequency of revision, how many times you revise the lesson. T is the time itself, the time you spend with your books for study purpose. Instead of interest, I use the word the tremendous thrust from the bottom of your mind. If you have a tremendous thrust from the bottom of your mind to learn, to get educated, not because of the pressure from your father, mother or teacher, from your own inside, from your own inner will, if you can create a high interest, a tremendous thrust to learn, then you can see your marks will become square of that. If you can increase the interest from your bottom of your mind 10 times, your marks will increase 100 times. That is the main factor. The second thing, even if you have interest, you must learn and revise again and again. Only interest is not enough. Even if you have interest, you have to do work. You have to work hard. You have to learn, you have to revise again and again. When you revise, the concept becomes very clear in your mind. The third thing, you have to spend more time. The marks you scoring in exam will be directly proportional to the time also. If you increase the time, then marks also will be increased. Okay, so this equation, if you apply in your life, I already applied and I got the result. So you can also apply. If you apply this in your life, if you square your interest, if you increase the tremendous thrust from the bottom of your mind to learn, to educate, your marks will become square of that. And keep on revising. Okay, today itself you revise this topic, again after 1 week, again. So we have to repeat again and again. Increase the frequency of revision and also increase the time you spend with the books. Then you can see in future you will reach at a very high position. You can get very good success. You will come out with the flying colors. Okay, thank you.